What is going on, my people? How is everyone doing today? Here, let's gotta play with this a little bit. It's getting all shady over here. Boom. There we are. Great. Okay. I know it's important to see me. I don't know why, but I know it is. How's everyone doing today? I'm I'm really excited. I'm always excited about the guest. Like, let's be pretty much. There's very few times where I'm like, oh, not this motherfucker. but I'm almost always really excited. But I'm excited about this one because this is somebody I met at my first convention ever. We became fast friends, and then anytime we're in the same building, we have to hang out. Just have to, like, have to find time. So it's just amazing. I'm gonna make this public. You guys are out there, like, share, show it off. Oh, see, I got people already. Katrina, what's going on, girl? I am here. Hey. Thank you. Oh, I'm glad you guys are excited. I'm so happy. I love that you guys are excited. Calm down over there, Becca. I'm live. Um, so yeah, man, oh, are you talking to me, pretty lady, or Katrina? I'm gonna assume you're talking to Katrina. Fair enough. Mike Bankston's in the house. What's going on, homie? Yeah, please feel free to like, share, check this all out. We're gonna have a really fun time tonight. This is somebody who has seen every angle, I think, of the convention, and I mean, like, she's worked every type, almost every type of booth you could possibly imagine. And so there's just so much to the con life. I like to tell people, well, I'm gonna say it more and more, but she's almost like a carny in the fact that when she goes to shows, you're never 100% sure what booth she's gonna be at or where it goes. And actually, it's funny. I know her as Sammy, but I have to go and I have to find out what name she. We're artists. We're not always going by the same name, so I'll find out for sure. I forgot to ask. Um. Uh. What's going on, Mr. Manel? How are you doing, dude? Shit. I hate when people send me crazy messages in the middle of being fucking here. I fucking kid. Do you know the Hulu login? I'm like, I can't help right now. I'm live. Fuck off. Okay. You know what though? We've got a bunch of people going on. This is all good in the hood. Why don't I see? Yeah. My guest is here. Everyone's ready. I think it's time that we just made this thing happen. So let's go.
Canadian bacon is actually really good, and it's nothing like normal bacon, and it's better than ham, which you guys seem to call Canadian bacon. I'm very good at writing. I write very well. Yeah, it's shop talk.
Do some of your audience members like the word fuck? Cool, then I'm gonna keep saying fuck. Because I care.
What's up, girl?
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I did forget, what name are we calling you today?
Y'all can just call me Bambi.
Okay.
So that's my
Perfect.
fair name and convention name now.
Okay. So fair name. You do Ren fairs too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude. Seriously, you live a life that I'm very jealous of, and my mom would be scared shitless of. In the nicest way possible. In the nicest way, like I remember when I was 19, leaving home because we have an extra. Oh, you're already getting some love. Sarah
That's my
Miller's
little
giving some.
sister.
Nice.
Hi,
Nice to have
Sarah.
you on the show. Thank you, Sarah. And guys, if anyone has any questions, feel free to hit us up. We're glad to talk about anything. But my mom, when I first told her I was going to be an actor, she said that scared the shit out of her because she was like, I don't know what that life is like. I don't know what to do with that. I don't know how to help you. It's not a 9-to-5 job. And I'm now that I'm here, same thing. Like, no one's really sure what to do. So we have Trish Bankston. Someone is playing Skyrim in the background. Is
Yeah.
your boyfriend playing? Oh, he's great.
It's my partner. He turned off the sound so I could do this, but he wanted to be here to support me, so he's playing Skyrim with the sound off.
You're a keeper, homie. You are a keeper. Sophia Pratt is your biggest fan.
She is my best friend, my Oh, I love her. She's my best friend. She's also an artist too. You'll get to
Oh.
meet her at some conventions too.
Yeah, she can always drop by the booth. You know me, man, all the love. Speaking of dropping by the booth, my booth mate Doug Brown is here, and he's saying hi.
Ah!
Dude, so good to see you, buddy. Thanks for popping in. So, without further ado, this is my dear friend Bambi. We met and I know exactly when, it was 2018 Alamo Comic Con, Alamo City Comic Con in San Antonio.
Yep.
You came by my booth, and you were working at a corset booth.
Mhm.
Is that correct?
Yep. I was all dressed up in my little corset and my fishnets.
I remember, it was so funny because I'm named after a priest. My grandfather was a priest. I have this weird lever in my head that both is a deviant and a prude. And so this woman walks up and she's wearing a corset, and I'm just like, I don't know where the fuck I'm supposed to be looking. Look at her eyes, but her tits are there, but her eyes, and I'm just like, did not know what to do. It was very uncomfortable, but you were such a fun, nice person that it became very easy to just engage with you and forget that there was a corset between us.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Grandma. And hi, Grandpa.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Sarah says hi, and then Miller's giving some love.
That's my mama, and there's
Linda.
my grandma.
Okay. Oh, hello, Grandma and Grandpa. I apologize for my cursing, but I will be as good as possible. You have a delightful granddaughter here, and I really think she's a great person, and that's why she's on the show. So you were selling corsets. How do you get a job like that?
Well, so I accidentally got the job. I was at a convention, obviously, just roaming around, and I call him my bald vampire, because that's who he is, and he sells corsets. But his friend, or not his friend, his worker couldn't work, and I was like, I could give it a shot. Like, I'm good at selling other people's stuff. And he was like, not this con, but I'll hit you up for another one. Then he messaged me, he picked me up, and we went to a convention, and that's how it all started.
Wow. That's pretty great. Yeah. Okay. So whenever I'm talking to people, because it's mostly comics people, I will ask them, what is your origin in comics and in creation and whatnot? But for you, it's different. So I almost feel like this is like a generational thing for you. How did you get into the con life?
Okay, so actually my grandpa, I don't remember what year it was, but he was the one that took me to my first convention, which was Comic Palooza. It was just me and him, and honestly, it was one of the best times I'd ever had. I was super shy, cargo capri pants and, the 90s to early 2000s type shirts and the hats and, yeah, awkward kid stage type thing. But what really grabbed me was I ended up meeting one of the actors from Harry Potter walking down one of the hallways.
Oh,
I
wow.
asked him, I'm like, I'm a huge fan of Harry Potter. Can I get a picture with you? His manager was like, no, we got to go somewhere. He took the phone out of either my hand or my grandpa's hand and handed it to her and said, take a picture. I have that picture somewhere and I will post it as soon as I find it. But that's what stuck. And ever since then, we would go to Comic Palooza. And then my first working was with Mike, the corset guy, and it's all history from there.
That's so cool. We got more people in here. Melina says hi.
Hi, that's one of my clan members from Fair.
Okay. Oh, that's all. Yes, you were. And okay, Melina, I have seen that avatar when I was doing my research, and I love your war paint and everything. Like, it's just, that's beautiful in that picture. Steph says Jock, which I'm gonna warn you about Steph. He is about to be on my ass for the next hour. Probably 15 minutes. He'll get bored and go somewhere else. But it's gonna be fun. He'll be a dick about it. It'll be great. Yeah, see? Chuck is still in his awkward phase. Yeah, I will die in my awkward phase. It'll be great.
Same.
Uh,
2009.
2009. That's pretty great. Okay.
See, grandma for the win. She
I
does everything.
know. That's a solid win. That's all her. She did it for me. Aw.
Yeah,
That's
I'm a
amazing.
makeup
So
person.
you did that, the makeup? Oh, that's badass. Okay, cool. I might have to get you to do mine.
I'll totally do it.
Right? And you know what? A lot of these people know I'm usually up for anything. Like I'm pretty ridiculous with that kind of shit. That's cool. So, and you know what I like about that story with Grandpa, and which Harry Potter actor was it? Or are we not allowed to say?
No, I can say it's I can't remember his actual name either in the movie or the thing, but his spells always blew up in his face. He was kind of like a side character.
You mean Neville?
No, everybody guesses Neville, but it's no. You
Wow.
remember when the spell like blew up in his face and his face was all like black and ashy and everything?
Oh, it was like
awkward.
Seamus or whatever, one of the
Yeah.
other. Okay. Okay, I know what you're talking about. I get that. Okay, well, no, that's really cool, man. And I like that he kind of put his see, Trish said it too. She said Seamus, yes. Except for I remember in the books they spell it that weird Irish way, Seam.
Yes, Seamus Finnegan.
Yeah. All right. We won that one. Yeah. Linda said it too. Yes. Okay, cool. We all got it. That's pretty great.
That one guy from the one movie.
You are in right. You are in the nerd zone. People are getting it. That's fantastic. I love that he would do that, where he would be like, no, you don't answer for me. Now you got to take the picture.
Right. And I was so shy, and so I had to get up enough courage just to walk up to him to ask that. But my grandpa had my back, and he was like, just go do it. It's fine. What's the worst that he could say? No?
That nerd alert's going to be going off the whole time, homie. Yeah, and that's exactly why Comic-Con is so great. As long as you're not like an insistent asshole,
right.
You can ask for almost anything, and they either say yes or no.
Yeah.
So when did you actually get? Because you said the corset job was your first job in convention. So when was that?
Oh, it was Delta H Con like 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
So
you hadn't been at it that long when I met up with you.
I was probably, y'all were probably my like 7th convention working. So I was pretty confident in myself by that point.
Yeah.
And yeah.
How many shows were you doing a year at the? Oh, see, Miller said 2017. So yeah, okay, a year before. How many shows were you doing a year at your peak?
Oh, at my peak, almost every weekend. Almost. There was in 2019 for a good solid 4 or 5 months. I was gone every weekend. I'd get home Monday or Tuesday, do my laundry, leave again Thursday. But that wasn't working with Mike. That was working with Scott, which is a t-shirt seller.
That's crazy.
So yeah.
That's the shit I was talking about, people. This Carney thing where she's like, okay, cool. Now I'm selling t-shirts. And haven't you had your own booths selling your own stuff now?
I've had my own booth one time, and it was a free convention in Houston at a comic book shop. But I usually work with my mom and my grandma, so we're a 3-generation shop. My grandma sews, my mom's the manager, and I'm the artist.
Oh, that's so your mom doesn't actually, your mom is kind of the sort of financial glue that kind of keeps it together. Oh, that's cool. And
yeah, she comes up with ideas. She picks out all the statues and stuff. She gives me ideas for art, and
so cool.
Yeah.
And I met your mom 2019 Comic Palooza, I believe.
Yes.
She was dressed up as Ursula?
It was Mother's Day. And right. I remember it was very emotional, and I ended up breaking down at your booth, and you just hugged me and said, everything's going to be okay. Like, you have been one of my biggest, like, mental health supporters. Like, besides my family, outside of my family, you've been one of my biggest, like, mental health supporters.
Aww. Thank you so much. You know what? In all honest, I don't remember you bringing it. I don't remember it because so much shit happens at those weekends. It's not like, it's not important enough. I forget like 95% of it.
Trust me, I understand. It wasn't like a boo-hoo, boo-hoo. It was just like tears and everything. And you just had to, it wasn't like a full-on breakdown.
Right? No, but and I love like this last show at Comic Palooza. You had told me you weren't coming. You were a sneak.
I know. I was a sneaky person.
Out of nowhere, there you were, and that was amazing.
Honestly, it was great because you were looking down the whole time like, hey, welcome to our booth. And I'm like, Chuck, look up. And you looked up and you're like, oh my God.
It fucking blew me away. Yeah, that was so funny. Chase says they need to go to a con. Yeah, you do. Like, I don't even know you that well, but yeah, you need to go to a show.
That's Melina's husband. And they're part of my clan at Fair.
So they're out of Houston as well?
Yeah, they're like an hour and a half out, like out in the country.
Okay. Yeah, you got to come to a Comic Palooza. That would be awesome. You would have such a great time. And I mean, it actually doesn't matter which show, but that would be a good one. Trish asked, this is a funny question, if you've ever been a booth babe.
I mean, technically working at like the corset thing, you're kind of a booth babe already because you're just booth babe. Did I say it? Okay. Sorry, my dyslexia like word vomit for a second.
No, you got it.
So I wear the corsets and everything to basically be like, this is what it looks like and everything. And then I build up the confidence of the people because that's honestly the biggest part of working in the corset and any type of clothing is you can't be judgy. Like you can't be a judgmental person. And so like my favorite part was building the confidence of and watching the smiles and the bright eyes every time they put on a corset and actually look at themselves and be like, I actually am pretty or I actually am handsome. And just watching that and building somebody else's confidence is the best thing ever. Best serotonin you could ever get.
That's great. So that's really cool. Zero judgment. Did you sell many to men?
Yeah, actually I did. Yeah. I have multiple pictures on my Instagram. I might have to re-upload them because they're probably on my old one. But we would like talk to guys. We'd put their girlfriends in corsets and we'd be like, hey, do you want to try one? And they'd be like, nah. And I'm like, bro, it's going to help your back. And they'll be like, all right, fine. And I put them in one and they're like, this is nice.
That's so cool. I like that. Oh, that's neat. Katrina says we all weep on Chuck. Steph, Chuck, mental health. Not often you hear that together. That's untrue.
I can vouch for that. That is very untrue.
Trish says I should dye her hair pink, and I know a girl she could cosplay for in an upcoming. Oh, you're right.
I've had pink hair before.
So that's true. So Trish and Mike are doing a book called Brink and Fetch Just Want to Have Fun. And it's really cool. It's like a sexier college Buffy, basically.
Nice.
Except for imagine that it switched around. Buffy is the witch, and Willow is the kind of badass Slayer.
Got it. Okay.
So it's a little more switched around, and they're a couple. But it's such a good book, and yeah, you're right. She does remind me of one of the characters. Good call, hon. Holy shit, dude, the chat here is going insane. Brian says, I guess Chuck wears more hats than it appears. Dude, I wear every hat. Like I love my hats, but whatever you need, I'm gonna find a way. Danny's in the house. Danny's awesome. He runs a shop out of Florida called The Collective. Absolutely awesome dude. If you're looking for great comics in Orlando, it's The Collective and Danny Morales. Oz says, I understand all the people who have booths at cons are nerds.
I actually met Oz at a convention too.
Really?
Yes. One of the first times we went to Comic Palooza, my mom can give the date. She knows those things. But my mom was dressed up, and he had this giant metal hammer on his table. And I have a picture of him in all of his armor, and my mom in her cosplay with the hammer. And it's wonderful. And then him and I have been friends since then, too.
That's so cool. But Oz, I will tell you, that's not a true statement. All of the people at those shows are not nerds. And I'll tell you how. Yeah, see, she knows what I'm talking about.
Yep.
I did a show in 2019, and right across from me, one of the biggest like ambulance chaser lawyers. He only does like the big truck car crashes and shit. He was there, and he's walking around, and he's like handing out his shirts and stuff, and I'm like, do you want to look at any of my stuff? And he's like, no, I'm good. I'm just here to, I paid for the sponsorship, and so they gave me a booth, but this isn't my place. And I was like, yeah, no, it's not. And then when you and I saw each other in 2019 with your mom at Comic Palooza, I don't know if you remember, but right beside our booth was an outdoor CrossFit place.
Yeah. They had so many like sports events things and everything. They tried it for that year and it failed. Like failed.
Dramatically, yeah. You know what I did? Did you hear what I did with them?
No.
So they were really nice. I would have a good conversation with them because no one's fucking going to the CrossFit booth while they're eating their fucking Cracker Jacks and stuff, right? Like no one's going to that. So they would go by, and of course they're like, hey, do you want to work out? Do you want us to weigh you and shit? And everyone's like, I do not want you to weigh me, you know? There was a couple people who did, but very rarely. So I said to the woman who was kind of running it that day, I said, hey, do you mind if I have a little bit of fun with you guys? And she's like, yeah, that's no problem. I was like, all right, cool. So they had a chair there. I took one of their open chairs and I put it in front of my booth. And then, of course, someone walks by and they're like, hey, do you want to work out? Blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no, thank you. And then they kept walking. I was like, did those meetings try to make you work out? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, man, screw that shit. Why don't you come down, sit down, read a book? And they're like, what, really? I'm like, read a book. And they would, dude, there was this woman, she was probably like well into her 40s, and she's like, all right, what should I read? I was like, ma'am, look around, whatever jumps out at you, I can talk to you about it. And so she had a blast, and I ended up selling books. Like, it was great. And they thought it was hilarious because by the time they passed by, you're not selling to them. Like, they've already said no. So I might as well take advantage of it and have fun. It worked perfectly. So yeah, that's not true. John Westhoff is in the house. Good to see you, homie. They do have men's course. Yeah, I'm learning. This is all new to me. I'm interested. I want to lose weight just so that I can get into a good corset. Sammy, we've been to the PowerCon in Anaheim, California. That's the He-Man and She-Ra convention. Wow. I've never heard of that. That's cool. Miller said Comic Palooza 2012.
Yep.
See, that's why we have a manager.
Yep, exactly.
I get it because that my wife is perfect for that stuff. James Sims is in the house, another comic creator. Good to see you, buddy. Good evening, you beautiful people, and Chuck. Fair, totally fair. Yes, the Camp Gladiator. That's right, Doug. Camp Gladiator. Oh, that was hilarious. We had so much fun with those guys. Yes, I should. You're right, Steph. I definitely should have made friends with the lawyer. Miller, I'm in my 40s too. So it's all good. It was just that this woman, she was, well, you know what? Like, let's be honest. We're not normal in the nicest way. We're not normal. The average 40-year-old isn't necessarily going to stop by a comic booth. And this woman didn't dress like she looked like she was the mother of someone. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't look like she was here for the comic show. She looked like she was here for someone else. And so I was not expecting her to fall for it, but she fell hard and she was great. And I was like, okay, fantastic. Well, calm down, everybody. I'm 42. Holy shit. Gladiator. That's great. Linda, 68 and still go to cons. Again, definitely was not an age thing. I'm sorry I brought up the age. It's just that I know and you guys are deservedly coming after me. That's fine. But no, it just that she didn't look like she was there for the show. You know what I mean? Like, you can tell whether they're cosplayed or they've got their nerd shirt on or whatever they've got going on. But this one was walking around with no bags in her nice, nice clothes that you would probably wear to work or whatever. Like nothing that would tell me you're a comic fan. So that's really what I meant. My apologies. For her birthday, she took herself to 2 comic stores to find the run of The Last Witch. Okay, very cool. Ted Davies is in the house. See, Chase, we gotta change that. We gotta change that, man.
Trust me, I think at a certain point, I think we're gonna end up taking his son before we take him to a convention.
Right? Yeah, Steph, I'm digging that grave so fucking deep. But why don't we talk about Bambi here? So not only we've talked about all the Comic-Con stuff, but not only that, you're also a creator in your own right.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you tell us about what you do and make?
So I'm an artist. Like, I paint, I do digital art. I kind of have my hands on a little bit of everything. I do clay work, and I've just recently discovered something. I'm adding clay work to my paintings.
Ooh.
And I have 2 examples if you would like to see them.
Absolutely.
So I have my little snake, which this all is cool.
That's so freaking cute. I love that.
For the spooky season, I got little ghosts with fungi coming up, and then a pumpkin.
Oh, that's so badass. Oh, I love that. How does that kind of stuff usually do at a show?
Actually, so my first piece I ever did was a rabbit that had a silver moon behind it and had little mushrooms growing out of it. I've been really into mushrooms recently, as weird as that sounds. And so I added clay mushrooms to the sides of it. And some kid walked by and he was like, my girlfriend loves the cottagecore stuff. I'm buying this. And I was like, all right, cool.
That is cool. I'm going to do this just so now everyone's aware. Just so we're all aware, folks. Oh, great. See, what do we got? More hellos to everyone. Chuck writes and edits comments, but only for 30-year-olds. Yeah. There's a certain age you have to be.
Hey,
if you're in your 40s.
I like his comics, and I'm only 25.
Excellent. See, that's why I keep you around. Because you put dicks like Steph in their place. Katrina loves your ghosts.
Thank you. Once I finish it, because it's not glued on yet or baked. So once it's done, it's going to be for sale. I usually post on my Facebook, so feel free to add me.
So what would a piece like that go for? I wouldn't know what to sell it for.
This one I'd probably sell for about $35.
Nice.
And make it easy, just an even number.
Yeah.
And then
Right? I hate when they do the weird numbers. They're like, it's $34.75, and you're like, why? Especially at a show. No, like somebody came by my booth and they were like, hey, this comic is $3.99, but you said it was $4. I'm like, I don't got no pennies, man. I have no change. Everything is an exact number.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll do for you, I said. If you want to pay $3.99 for that comic book, I'll charge you for that, but you have to pay with your card. And they were like, oh, all I have is cash. I'm like, then it's $4 because I don't have pennies.
Yep.
Ted Davies says you're very creative.
Thank you.
We agree. So Brian Manell is awesome. He's a regular on the show, and he always has great questions. He says, do you have any favorite art styles? What are some things you like to create in your art the most?
I actually love painting, and I love painting like skulls of animals. I love painting animals in general. I have a few examples, like this one I just recently did, and it has the silver on it. And so
you did one of a cat skull, I believe,
a long time ago.
Yeah, I loved that piece.
This one hasn't sold, and it's my oldest piece that I've done, and also my favorite.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that.
Sorry for the light glare.
Are you that's great. Are you kind of happy that that one hasn't sold? Because that looks like a piece that you love having around. You're like, do you find that? Do you get attached to it where you're like, it's gonna cost this much just because I love it, and if you really want it, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, huh?
What's the stupid price on that?
That one is $350 to $400.
Yeah.
Stupid high price, because that's the thing though, is if somebody is willing to pay that, I know it's going to be loved as much as I love it.
Yep.
They're not going to take like a $15 piece and throw it on the shelf or whatever. It's going to be hung up somewhere to be memorialized. Yeah.
Well, let's I have Giant Size X-Men 1. Huge book, so important to me, but I love that book. So someone said to me, is it for sale? And I was like, everything's for sale. And they're like, what would you have to have? I was like, no. You're going to have to throw stupid numbers at me. Like, we're talking stupid numbers, and it won't be worth flipping for you.
Yeah.
And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, I'm just not ready to sell it right now. So you really would have to make it worth my while, where I'm like, I'm paying off a couple mortgage payments or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, I feel you on that $400. I totally get it. Chuck is heavy into mushrooms. You know what? Everyone has their fun time. Brian Manell loves the ghosts and the fungi. Brennan says hello. Is that her husband?
That's her son, and that's the one that he's 9 or something, and we keep promising we'll take him to a convention, and he's gonna go with us one day. We're gonna go kidnap him and go. So
you know what? If Brennan comes to next year's Comic Palooza, I will have a treat ready for him. You guys remind me, and I will have something ready for him.
Oh, I will remember.
Stickers, a book, whatever. Yes, please remind me, because my ass will forget. But yes, if Brennan comes, we'll take care of him. Where can we find your art to look at? That's a great question.
That is a great question, and I'm in the process of rebranding myself. So my Instagram right now, and you might have to write this down because I apologize. Oh no, I changed it. It's the THE Pink PYNK bat, like the animal.
Okay. Well, and if also the other way people can track you down, guys, is I tagged her in this post.
Yeah.
So you could just PM her through that post, and because Katrina even said, I need to add her and buy me some ghosts.
Yeah. And I do commissions too. I do painting commissions as well. So if you have something specific in your mind, I got you.
I love that so much. What is this? I'll charge you $3.99 for the book, but you have to tip me a cent. Yeah, absolutely.
That's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, see, everyone's loving it. Millie, you should see his face right now. It's true. It's true, buddy. You pop by, you remind me, Brennan. We have some books for you. We'll find something, or stickers, or whatever. We'll find something for you, bud. Yeah, she'll add you from that.
Just remember, he is a kid, so no Belial comic yet.
No, but I have Belial stickers.
There you go.
So those ones are bad, but yes, not the comic. What do we have here? The pink bat.
Yep, Grandma's got
amazing. Thank you, Grandma. You're the best. Have you done artwork for comics in any way? Have you thought about making stories through some of your art?
Actually, that was one of the conversations him and I first had when we ever met. We started throwing ideas back and forth. I am wanting to write my own children's book right now about a kid's first time at the Renaissance Festival. And I'm going to make a boy version and a girl version. So it's going to be like the little girl goes to the thing, but she wants a sword. She doesn't want to wear the princess dresses, or she's in a princess dress, but she wants a sword and she wants armor. And it's going to be like, okay, you can do whatever you want to. And it's for like the little boy. I want the butterfly makeup. I want the fairy wings, and to be all like gender inclusive, knowing that a child is a child. They are innocent. You should not put gendered standards upon a child. But it's all fun at the Renaissance Festival. So with the getting to see the fairies, the mermaids, everybody.
That's great.
But then, like the comic book part, I am trying to get into being an illustrator for comics. My brain the train derailed.
It's tough. There's a lot to it because it's not a static picture anymore, or even like 3D work or whatnot. You're storytelling.
Yes.
And it's a very different thing. So I always tell anyone, if you're going to get into art for comics, you really need to do a lot of reading and research. You don't want to just jump into it. My wife, she's doing art for a comic. Actually, here it is. I'll show something up real quick. Oh, my wife just got home, so they're going to be... Hey, Becca. Just a sec, guys. Dogs, you got to love them. It's okay. Just pet them. Take care of them. Mom's here. Chill out, dude. So my wife, this happens every once in a while. My wife is currently drawing off of a script that I wrote.
Okay.
So
I can't wait to meet your wife, by the way.
She's a great lady. Thank you. And you know what? I've told her lots about you too. So she often comes and watches the shows. She was out for her birthday dinner. Her birthday was about a week ago. Yeah. So her mom and sister took her out and they had a good time. But she needed to do layouts and she's like, I'm just gonna draw squares. And I was like, how about I thumbnail what a page should look like? So I did things like, here, I'll show you one of my better. So obviously it's just like shitty. Here, I'll put the solo layout so you guys can see. It's like square, 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 and then we got like the square with the little circle thing at the end and whatnot. And you know, and I have lots of it's not super dynamic, but it's, you know, all about like have an inset in there and stuff. And that's the kind of stuff that you don't usually see. You know, I hate just seeing the block.
Right.
So that's why I showed her, hey, let's do it like that. And so she's going to work off of that. And we might have a comic, a little 3-page kid story set up for a friend's book.
That's going to be awesome.
I loved making the script. I'm like, so I beam when I read it. Like I read it today when I had to draw that. And I was just like, this is cute as shit. I love this. So Grandpa is typing on Grandma's account, just so you're aware. And Grandpa says that he had his time of fame in the first 10 seconds. What else do we got here? She loves it. Kids book. Yeah, see, Katrina is a kids author, so she does a lot of
Then I might need to talk to you about helping me because I don't.
She's an editor too. Yeah, she's an editor too. So having an editor who's also a kids novelist. What else we got? Chuck, are you going to get into comics one day? If I get big and strong, just like John Westhoff, I'll make me a comic book. Speaking of, John, and anyone else who has any Kickstarters going on, drop them in here, show them off. We have no problem with that. John Westhoff has made this amazing book called Depowered. I am the editor on there. It is on Kickstarter. Right now, it could use all the love. So if you guys want to check that out, I would love it. It's the story of a man who got powers 20 years ago out of nowhere and then suddenly lost them. And so now he's living the has-been con lifestyle when things go crazy in his life. Okay, this was a weird question. Are those squirrels? I don't know. Maybe she's talking about the dogs. I'm not sure. Can your client send you that type of script? What type of script? I don't know. Well, what type of script do you mean, Trish? She is one of my clients, so that's totally possible. Are there any artists who've inspired you in your work?
Yes, there are several. One of them is her name is Fukari on Instagram. It's Fukari. She has a very, very unique style, and it's beautiful. I love it. There are several others. I can't remember the names of them. I have a lot of my art books on my shelf over there, across the room. Of course, I didn't think about that kind of question. So, but a lot of the old like fairy artists, the really like vintage looking fairy artists. There was an artist who did unicorns, but it was all watercolors. And if I showed it to you, y'all would know exactly who I'm talking about. But I'm terrible with names. I'm awful with names.
I'm trying to. There was one that my wife has. Viejo. He used to do a bunch of fairies and whatnot. Boris Viejo was one who did a lot of that kind of stuff, and it was very painterly. Sammy Bobby came on and said, "Will you do album art?" If someone asked.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I would love to do album art.
Okay.
Like, I love music. Okay, this is gonna be a little bit like showing my emo side and everything.
Yeah.
I would make mixed CDs of all of my favorite songs, and then make the album art of like each song has a element to the one piece.
Oh, I love that.
I was a cringy kid at a certain point, but it was awesome.
No, you know what though? I feel you. I feel like covers, especially like comic covers, album covers, all that kind of stuff. They should, in a sense, tell a story, give a feeling of the theme and whatnot. Like, I found it funny that, one of the ones that I think really sells itself poorly is like Meatloaf's "Bat Out of Hell."
Yeah.
It sells itself like a metal album. It is not metal. It's barely rock.
Yeah.
And that's not an attack on Meatloaf or an attack on anybody over 40 or whatever, people. But it's just that if I were to not know anything about that, just seeing the cover, I'd be like, rock on, this is going to be amazing. And then you listen to that, and you listen to Paradise by the Dashboard Light, and you're like, what the fuck is this? What? This is not what I bought. And so that's why I like what you did, because you were giving a theme, a feel for those musicians and whatnot. And I think that's really important when you do any kind of cover stuff. Let's do this. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. Brian says, do you have any favorite children's stories or stories in general?
So, I think a year or two back, my friend got me, I think in New York. I want to say it was New York. She got me this. It's a stuffed animal mixed with a kid's book thing, and it's Little Star.
Oh, cute.
And it's basically just about like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. But I have, so you know anime, right? Ouran High Host Club. The English voice actor for one of the guys, it's one of the twins, Hikaru, signed in my book for me.
Oh, that's so cool.
Because I got to meet him. And then this was supposed to be my like convention book where I take it, and like my boss Mike signed it too and everything.
Oh.
And just to write little notes, but I keep forgetting it everything. But my favorite is Stella Luna. If anybody remembers Stella Luna, it's about the little baby bat.
Oh, that's cute.
It's so adorable. I have it somewhere. It's probably packed away because we just moved to a new house. So,
oh, congrats. Cool. What do we got? Oh, we got some Kickstarters happening.
Nice.
Her Kickstarter for her next Toy Store book is happening. That'll be book 2.
Awesome.
And then John Westhoff is showing off his Depowered. Fantastic. In my sketches. No, those were not squirrels in the sketches. It was, see, that's how bad my sketch was. It was a baby dragon and a baby griffin.
Oh.
You're very welcome, Jonathan. Charles, you're weird. Oh, she put depowered up there. Awesome. Joking about the random drawings. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. You can call me Cuck, but only you, Dave. Only you can call me Cuck. Meatloaf is over 40. Yes. He's over 60 too. Yeah, see, now I'm getting all the love for Bat Out of Hell. Good for you guys. Attack on Meatloaf is my fat guy anime name. That's hilarious.
Okay, that's awesome.
Thank you, Steph. Thank you. I kind of agree. It's actually, the guy is talented. It's not that I hate him, but I retold my mom this story. Whenever she would take us on long car rides, she would turn off the radio when we got bad, and she would put that album on all the way through, and we would fucking hate it. We were in the car for like 2-3 hours.
Punishment album.
That was the Punishment album, and yeah. There was that, and then there was another one. You guys probably wouldn't know this guy, but he's a French-Canadian pop star called Rock Voisine. And yeah, she would play that too, and it was terrible because it was like French-Canadian pop. Oh, it's just, oh. And like wrote ballads and shit. Yeah, thank you, Mike. I think that you should be willing to do that though. If your partner wants you to do that, you should rethink it. You said, oh, that's an adorable cover. I guess that the last one you showed off.
Yeah.
Where do you get your inspiration for your drawings from?
Nature. I mean, I used to be a volunteer at Brazos Bend State Park, and that was because of my grandma. She's the one that got us into it, and I was homeschooled. So as one of my subjects, I was able to study animal anatomy as an art class and a science class. And so
that's cool.
I would draw the pictures and then learn the anatomy as the science part, and then draw the anatomy as my art part, if that makes sense. And
that's so neat.
I love taxidermy. I think it brings a new life to something that has died. And like, I have foxtails for my Renaissance costume. I have a goat skull from my own grandparents' farm, not the grandma on here, but my own grandparents' farm. And I take it places because it's like, even though you have died, I can still show you the world type thing.
That's neat. That's a really cool way to look at it.
Find the beauty in death.
Yeah, no, I like that. I was actually telling someone recently, because writing Belial, and one of the characters is Death, one of the main characters in this third issue. And they were like, because I've added further depth to the other horsemen, they were like, is there any, my kids said, is there any further depth that you're going to add to Death? And I said, you don't have to. Death is all encompassing. The one thing you can say to every single baby when you pick them up and they're first born, the only one truth you can tell them is, you're going to die one day.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the one thing. So Death already is all encompassing. It doesn't need my help. James Sims says, Chuck, don't lie to her. We all know you know nothing about anime. She didn't ask if I knew anything about anime. She asked me if I knew what it was. I know what it is. That's the end. He has Stella Luna, the plushie.
Oh, that's not fair. I need to get it. I'll search eBay for it, because that's probably the only place I'll be able to find it.
Steph won that round. Del Guzman's in the house. What's up, buddy? What did Trish say? Oh yeah. So we do have a bit of a feedback, I think, on your end.
Okay.
Do you have like a headset or?
So my phone is a new phone, and I don't have a jack for it.
Okay.
So, but I can hear pretty well just through my speaker.
Okay. Well, then I'll just, yeah. We're going to have to deal with it, and that's fine. Not a big deal. It's not a lot.
I'm going to get the adapter soon. I got to have money in my bank account.
I feel you. Dell says, what anime are we talking about? We're just talking about it in general. You can ask about whatever one you want. I don't know where that came from, but yeah.
Oh, I mentioned I was homeschooled earlier.
Oh. You know what? There was a great joke that a comedian once said. He said, man, people made fun of me because I got with the teacher. Yeah, so what if I was homeschooled? And I was like, that's fucking hilarious.
I've heard that one. Calm down a little bit, but I've heard that one.
Trish, at least 50% of people are going to watch Meatloaf this month, so be nice as you are jumping. Yeah, I know, right? I made fun of people over 40. Anybody who likes Meatloaf, yeah. I'm gonna. The next thing I'm gonna say is I hate all humans. Like, you know.
Don't we all though? Don't
I think,
people don't
I might
like
actually
other human beings?
I might get love actually if I do that. Do you have a favorite kind of skull?
Yes. I love cat skulls. I love the anatomy of it. I love the just overall shape of it. I mean, all skulls are beautiful, obviously, but that and elk skulls. Elk skulls. That's a mouthful. But they're large. So
Yeah. No, elk are so cool. Have you ever seen caribou?
yes, I love caribou.
Yeah.
I love. Okay, so the bellowing they make when they do their sound, it's so beautiful. I could listen to that on a tape and be calm. As weird as that sounds.
I so feel you. Your mom says she has always been drawn to and drawn animals. Her first art piece was a clay horse in kindergarten, and the teacher placed it in the contest with the older kids.
Yep.
Yeah, of course I'm talking about myself again. I love the fuck out of me. You know what? I'll say to my wife all the time, I'll say, baby, I'm your biggest fan. And she won't say it back because she knows I'm my biggest fan. She tries, but
I can't wait till I have the confidence.
You know what though? So many people ask about confidence. They're like, how do you get so confident? I'm like, here's the trick with confidence. It's a fucking lie.
Yeah.
It really is a trick that you play on yourself that says, I'm good at this. And eventually you are good at that. So it's not a trick. But at some point, you had to trick yourself into believing that you were good at something that you just were not.
It's one of those things that it's like, if you say you can't do it, then yeah, you're right. You can't do it. But if you say, I will try and I won't stop until I succeed.
Yeah.
It's like saying like positive things about yourself. You'll start actually thinking it. Like, I know this sounds cringy like as heck, but like standing in the mirror and going, you're beautiful. I'm beautiful. We are great people. Like, we're confident people. You're going to feel silly at first, but after the 10th time, you're going to look at yourself, like you'll walk by a mirror and not cringe. You'll walk by a mirror and go, I look good today. Like, I might be in a shitty mood, but I look good.
Right? I don't know if I have it in here, but I like to, in my different like writing books and whatnot, I will write myself a note randomly. Oh yeah, see? Here's one. Just randomly out of nowhere, I wrote this. Keep it up, bro. So that if I randomly got to that point, I would see that and be like, oh, that guy, he wants me to do good. Okay.
I love like the little stickers that are like confident things, like you're a boss or you're a boss ass bitch. And then I'll stick them on things that I always look at. I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Linda says that Grandma says you spent a week with an artist learning to draw horses.
I did.
How did you pull that off?
So my grandpa knew somebody, and I went and spent a week on her farm and live drew horses. They got me a whole camera and everything so I could literally study from the animal itself.
That's so cool. Good for you. That's so neat. Your mom says the cats are assholes in life and death.
Yep.
I get it. I actually got cut up by our now cat. We actually didn't have a cat a week ago. And my dogs, so my room, the windows go right out into the front yard and into the street and whatnot. And so my kid just saw a cat out there and wanted to go play with it. I was like, okay, be careful. So she runs out there. The dogs are barking. They're watching her the whole time. And after 45 minutes of this shit, I just had enough. So I was just going to go out there and tell her, hey, time up with the cats. I can't handle the dogs anymore. Please come in. They're jealous as hell. I go out there, and she is standing there. I'm going to warn you guys, I have a huge thunderstorm here, so if something happens, I'll get back as soon as I can, but it's really close. It's really loud, too. I go outside to get her, and she's standing there with the kitten. It's like 4 months old on her shoulder, and at one side of her is a huge bucket of kitty litter and a bag of cat food.
Somebody
And
dumped him.
She says, Dad, I have a cat. And I was like, the fuck you do? What are you talking about? And she was like, I saw this cat and I was playing with it. And the owner down the street was just like, hey, I've been trying to get rid of this cat forever. Do you want it? And Becca's 12. And she's like, yep. And he goes, okay, cool. Here's the stuff. And I was like, that's a real asshole move, dude, because she has parents and they're probably not excited about that. My wife and I talked for hours. Like, what are we going to do about this fucking cat? Because Becca brought her in, was so excited. And I was like, all right, I guess that guy swindled us. He screwed us. So we have a cat now. And you know what, actually? My kid, she suffers from depression, has issues. But that cat has completely changed everyone. They're so excited to be around the cat, and their moods are all different. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll take some cuts for that, whatever.
Animals are the best therapy, and that's why we have service animals and therapy animals. Like, they bring an innocence and a life to just life in general. Yeah. Like, I mean, we just started fostering a new kitten. He's the sweetest little baby ever, and he's a jerk sometimes, but he just wants to be loved. Like, that's the only thing. He's like this big, and he's like, I just want to be loved.
That's cool. That's so cool. Brian Manel says all skulls are beautiful.
Yes, all skulls are beautiful.
Chase is gonna get a hog skull.
I'll paint it for you.
Wait, so have you done that? Done actual paintings on the skulls?
If you'll give me 2 seconds, I'll grab one.
Okay.
Because it's like right here.
See, Dave Galliano is the best. I love the fuck out of you, Dave. Oh, what a good dude. I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me. True story.
Okay, this is gonna be a little awkward because it's attached to my walking stick for fair. Let's go this way. I'm an awkward human being, okay? So this is what I was talking about.
Oh, neat. Is that the same thing that you drew on Melinda?
Melina, and no, hers is a Norse symbol. I don't know which one, but it's a Norse symbol. But see, like I have rabbit fur, and then this is actually a pet bunny that I used to have that ended up passing away. And so, like I said, bringing them back to life.
Oh, that's beautiful. In a very morbid way, but beautiful still.
I know.
I like it.
I'm okay with that.
Right? No, I like it. It's very different, but that's why I like it so much. Mama says you is beautiful. Thank you. You too. or Bambi, whoever you're talking to. You're right.
We're both beautiful.
What is my new cat's name? The kids called the cat Acacia because it had climbed up an acacia tree.
Oh, that's cute.
So yeah, I like that, and I thought I actually had said if you're gonna bring a cat, I get to name the damn thing because you're completely doing something that I didn't want, so I should have something good come out of it. And then they were like, we want to call it Acacia, and I was like, that's a cool name. Okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to think I'm confident, and I'll pretend to be for a little while. Whatever happens next is a toss-up. I think if you say I'd like to think I'm confident, you're already losing. You're lying to yourself, Brian. Just go with the lie. I am confident. If you can say that, say I am confident, despite the fact that it's a lie, that will get you halfway there. And the rest is just eventually believing the lie. Jeremy, just wondering if she would draw my son's name with Wicked Skull, and I'll help out with the headphones drive.
I can totally do that. Hit me up and send me a message. I won't answer until after this, obviously, but
That's
yeah, we can
cool.
totally talk it out and figure it out.
And that brings up something really cool that you can't do at cons as much, but we do it, and that is bartering.
Mhm.
Like, a lot of times, I'll have people come by my table and they're like, dude, I really want that book. I'm like, well, what do you got? We'll like trade books and shit. Yeah, so I mean that's a part of the life too. That's fun. Or I bartered my services as an editor.
I've
Do
had
whatever you can.
so my mom taught me the last con I was at. I started like pricing all of my stuff, and my mom's like, make it like $10-$20 more. Make it more. Have your base bottom low price that you'll go for. So if somebody comes up and is like, hey, this thing's $60, I only have 50. Is that okay? I'd be like, yeah, sure. It's a barter system type thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, be willing to give people a deal. Totally. Horse skulls are pretty cool. Giraffe skulls. How would you get your hands on a giraffe skull?
Pretty easily actually. Okay, so I do my research into how to get like exotic skulls, and it's not that hard to get exotic skulls. So
Wow. Okay. I don't want to know how. Like,
I couldn't talk you through the process. Like I'd have to look it up, but I know it's not too difficult. So
okay. What else do we got going on here?
Oh, I also do draw horse skulls. One of my pictures on my Instagram is of a zombie horse that I did, and I have the entire from start to finish of it, and I draw the skull first and then add the flesh on top of it.
You painted a skull cow for Sarah's birthday.
I did.
Oh, it's the Helm of Awe. Is that the symbol?
Yes, that is what it is.
Badass. That's a great name, too. Do we have links to your art? They were put in earlier. The pink bat?
Yeah, it's the pink bat, but the pink is spelled with a Y instead of an I. It's on Instagram.
But if you go to Instagram, you look up the pink bat.
Or DM me and I'll send you a link to it.
Yeah, certainly. I did tag her in this initial Facebook post, so you can do that.
My DMs are open, as weird as that sounds.
So few people's are. Oh my, new opportunities and avenues have suddenly opened up for me because of a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It really does. Yeah. Yeah, and there we go. The pink bat. Thank you, Mama.
Yep.
See, that's a good manager right there. They're not terrible if you enjoyed it, Dave. That's just they're not terrible if you enjoyed it. So I disagree. Maybe you can't tell your family about it, but they're not terrible if you enjoyed it. That's my lesson. What do we got here? Bambi, you're an amazing young woman. Chuck, you know you are amazing. Don't need to tell you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You are, absolutely. That is what I'm for. You're killing it, Mama.
Best support system I have.
Oh. Robert's calling you out. You do tend to underprice your art.
Yep, that is our king of our clan out at fair. And he is actually downstairs in my house right now.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, he's in the shower. I'm sorry.
Wait, is he posting while he's in the shower?
He might be taking a bubble bath for all I know. I don't care.
I have, people will find this funny, but I have this thing in my shower. I can hang my phone up and I'll turn on like a Netflix show or something and have a shower just so that like I'm constantly, I don't know, something's always going on.
Are you
I need to be entertained. I think I might be.
Me too.
I don't know if the H, but my mom had said the one thing she wishes she'd done is gotten me tested.
You can still get tested.
Yeah, I could, and I've been thinking about it. It's
honestly,
just pulling that trigger.
Honestly, though, it's just like a diagnosis. It's like a piece of paper. So, at this point, why do we care?
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think it would just be I want to go because I'm sure there's other issues too, and I'd like to be able to go find out what they are, so maybe I can kind of better figure my shit out and work around it,
That's understandable.
knowing what my triggers are and all that kind of stuff. Here in Pittsburgh, a few weeks ago, they found a rhino head leaning against a lamppost. That's fucked up.
That's a
Just
little.
the head?
I would totally pick it up and take it home, though. Like, honestly, if I saw that, I'd be like, all right, that's mine now. Like, I might go to the police station and just be like, I found this. Can I keep it? Or do y'all need it?
Ma'am, this is evidence.
Okay, well, here you go. Found it right there.
There's another book idea for you. A to Z skull art.
That's a good idea. That could be another kid's book. Like a gothic little kid's book.
Aardvark to Zebra, the A to Z skull book.
That's so cute. Okay, so somebody just DM'd me. I'll have to get back to you after the live. So just let you know.
Yeah, I got the same thing. I've been DM'd a couple times, and I'm like, okay, guys. I actually had a client, a prospective client, DMing me before the show, and I'm like, I gotta go live, but I'm very interested, and here's what's up. Thank you. 2 times more the amazing people we would have otherwise if they weren't. Thank you, buddy. Much love to all you guys. You guys are amazing. Yeah. That's a neat way of doing it. That's cool. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't believe her.
You're right. You totally do underprice your art because I wanted to sell my soul for one of her pieces, and she said, "You can just have it. Love you, but my soul is still owed."
I love you too, Sophia. I love you so much.
I've had to literally find ways to pay people. Like you slip something into their wallet or pocket or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, is Cubone your favorite Pokemon? Canonically, Cubone wear the skull of its mother.
So if we're talking Pokemon, I do like Cubone, okay? But as weird as it sounds, my favorite is Alolan Vulpix.
Okay, isn't that like the yellow bird thing?
No, it's the Vulpix is the little fox
guy,
but she's all white and has these bright blue eyes. And she's so cute. I do like my starter is Bulbasaur. Always gonna go for Bulbasaur. Don't care what anybody else says. Bulbasaur. I do the Pokemon paintings. That's another thing. Just gonna promote myself here real quick.
Yeah.
Canvas is about this size. I will do just basic Pokemon paintings for $10 plus shipping, obviously.
Oh.
Because they're easy to draw for me. There's a thing. So like if you have kids and you want to decorate their room, it's cheap. It's good for if a kid ends up destroying it. It's not like you spent $50 on something. And I mean, honestly, it's easy to recreate. So.
Yeah. Dave is all up in my DMs. That's how I like it. Jeremy, no, you don't. You don't someone to alter your thoughts with telling you that you are a cuckoo. I'm not sure what we mean there. That's the tough part about doing it live like this is you're like, how far back is that conversation? Like we've already moved on, so now I'm not sure.
Okay, so do like an add context and then do the little 2 dots and then ask your question. Like right. This part of the conversation, this is my question.
Right. Manager Mom says, I can honestly say she would probably wear my skull.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you get what's that?
I said I would bedazzle it.
I love that idea. When you get skulls, do you get them clean? Have you gotten raw skulls or go through the process to work on them?
So the rabbit skull that I have on my thing, she was the first animal I had ever skinned. I did an awful job. But doing that, because I worked in the vet field since I was 13, which is a whole nother part of my life. I've been a vet tech since I was 13. I've been able to help with surgeries and like necropsies and stuff like that. So I was actually able to tell what her death was when I did that. And so once I skinned her, I put her in a bucket to decompose. It's a gross process. It is terrible smelling. It's gross, but I take them out and wash them with a little bleach. Like, yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes the goat skull was sun bleached, so it died in the field, and my grandparents, they're farmers, so they just took it off to the backfield and let the animals go at it, and then it got sun bleached and all that fun jazz. So I get clean skulls, I get not clean skulls, I get whole animals.
Yeah. Do you have a bat skull?
I don't. That is the one thing that I want, and they're not very expensive, but they're so delicate. But I want a whole bat skeleton, and there's some artists that I follow on TikTok that'll actually make they'll articulate the skeleton on like a canvas or on a piece of wood, and so it's a piece of art. And I'm totally down to buy one of those. I do want to get a bat skull and put it in a resin piece so I can wear it as a necklace.
Wow, that's neat. Careful copyright. Honestly, I mean, she knows from conventions and whatnot. Everybody there, and I hate it, but everybody there sells copyrighted material pretty much.
They do. It's like if I posted it on like Etsy or somewhere that wasn't like my own page, usually they won't grab you. It's fan art. He is correct. It's fan art. So
fan art is a comic killer, but we get it. It's a thing, and there's no fighting it. Someone asked me why I didn't enjoy fan art so much. And I said, look, I was just this was when I was at Comic Palooza this year. And I said, I went to a show which Marvel and DC did not show up to. Marvel had two artists, or an artist and a writer, and I think DC might have had the same. But other than that, they didn't have any presence whatsoever. But all the fan art means that I am fighting against Marvel and DC every single time, and it's so difficult. So you'll tell people, do you want a comic? And they're like, no, because I can get a Marvel and DC comic. And you're like, yeah, you can, or you can get the prints or whatever. Yeah, I get it.
I had an artist tell me one time, and I love the man to death. I don't remember his name, but I see him at every con and I say hi to him. But he made a comment to me that it never sat right with me. He said, you're never going to make it with your own original art. Your money is going to be in fan art. And there's some truth to that. But if you are confident in your own art and do what you need to do, you can make it to anywhere you need to be. And that's where I've taken that. And
what you'll see is the natural progression of a lot of these artists and writers is they do their thing, they make it to a Marvel and DC, they work on all these IPs that you've seen before, and then when they've done their shit, they usually step back into creator owned and they make their own stuff. So often it's a gateway to be able to do the stuff that you truly love. And a lot of those stuff become really cool stuff. That's what Image is. Things like Hellboy, Ninja Turtles, all that kind of stuff. That's creator-owned stuff. That stuff was nothing before a couple people decided to go, let's do something cool.
So if I do fan art, I usually try to add something to it. So I recently made a piece that is fan art of an anime. And y'all probably know it. It's Demon Slayer. It's a newer anime that just came out. I drew Nezuko, which is my favorite character, but I added moth wings to her. As weird as that sounds, but the piece turned out beautiful. I haven't posted it yet, but I'm going to. But that's what I do. If I do fan art, I'm gonna add my own shit to it. Also, we have some comments that are really great. So
oh yeah, I'm about to go down.
Okay.
Grandma made you pick. You used to make her pick up roadkill.
I still do. We'll be driving somewhere and I'll see something. I'll be like, Grandma, and she'll be like, okay.
Don't make her angry. There was one time I was driving with Bambi and she saw a whole dead doe in a median, and immediately she kind of wanted me to pull over and get it. Don't blame her, but I am not that beefy, my dear.
That's true. We were driving back from the mall and we both saw it. I looked over at her and she goes, no. I didn't even ask. She was like, no, we are both not strong enough. My car is not big enough. And we do not have bags.
I'll tell you this story later, but I have a deer story I'll tell you later. It'll bring the party down a little bit. I don't want to do that, but I'll let you know later. Brian Manel says he has to go, but thank you so much. It was nice meeting you.
Bye. It was nice meeting you as well. Feel free to add me.
Yeah. Maybe sometime in the future, I'll ask to get some artwork done based on one of my comic stories. That'd be cool.
Yes, I will definitely do that.
Yeah.
I love supporting other artists.
In regards to making it with original artwork, amen to that. Yeah.
So actually, I have a piece of Sophia's art right here.
Ooh.
She drew one of my characters who is a bat, and this is years ago. Her art's great, but she has a lot more depth now. But this is a piece that she made me. So
good job, Sophia. That's great.
She's a costume designer too.
Ooh, that's awesome. Going to create her own from mainstream. Wasn't that Rags Morales' strategy when we talked to him? It might have been. I think he's still doing a lot of mainstream, but yeah, it's a lot of people do that. It's standard at this point.
But you gotta
Santos.
You gotta be that one person out of the crowd though. Because they're going to look at all of the fan art and be like, yeah, that's cool. And then they'll come to your booth and look at your stuff and be like, I've never seen this before and I want it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Good to see you, ma'am. Joe and I are working on a book together called The Comic. And it's
awesome.
It's about a comedian who is also a superhero. It's pretty great. And Sophia, thanks for the shout out. Yeah, absolutely.
You know I got you. You always support my art. I gotta support you too.
And that's a big part, I think, of the con life, is that we're all trying to sell. But I think the people who are on the road all the time, who have done this a lot, who are experienced in it, and please tell me if you think differently, but I think there becomes this like Connie code where you don't step over to someone else's booth and scalp customers. You don't, like, all these things you don't do,
right?
Because it's about selling and not screwing over the other people.
There are a lot of those, and there's a majority of those, but you do have those gatekeepers. You do have the gatekeepers. So, my biggest thing that I found, and this is some people, is I like to print out my digital pieces. And sometimes I'll ask other artists, hey, where do you get your stuff printed from? And sometimes they'll be like, I don't really feel comfortable telling you that because they don't want to give that person more work and be less on their stuff, if that makes sense.
It makes sense, but
like, if somebody asked me, hey, how did you make this? I'd be like, go to Michael's, here's what I used. Here's the paints that I used. Here's the brushes I used. Like, this is how you do it. Like, I support other artists.
Yeah.
That's how you, like, I've gotten more pieces done or, like, paid for and bought from other artists. And I fully support other artists. My entire back screen is other people's art that I bought. And I love
that
it.
That thing is missing some Belial stickers. We gotta get some Belial stickers on that.
I know. He has the Belial stickers.
I'll get you some. Don't you worry about that.
They're all over my PlayStation.
They're on his PlayStation.
Yes. I love you, brother. I love you. Melina says she would like your artwork on her leather work.
Yes. So her and I talked about that. She is a amazing leather worker. Her tag is leather no lace. So leather, no lace. and her pieces are beautiful. She made me this hairpin. It's in the bathroom right now, but she made me this hairpin. I still haven't figured out how to actually put it in my hair without like a hair tie, but her pieces are so beautiful. She'll make full like leather corsets and everything.
That's cool. What do we got? Bambi and I learn a lot of digital skills and resources from each other.
We do. So like on TikTok, I'll find a video of somebody teaching how to use something on the Procreate app that we use, and I'll send it to her, and Hale's like, hey, did you know this? And she's like, yes, but I found it's easier to do this. And we'll just go back and forth. We'll have art parties where we'll just sit on the bed and draw together. Like,
you artists have no fucking idea how lucky you are, because you can't do a writer party. That's boring as fuck.
No, it's not though. It's not. If you think about it, y'all both sitting at the computer, you're typing, you look over at your, like, okay, I'm going to read this to you. Does this sound right? You read it out loud and then be like, okay, I'm stuck at this part. This is what my brain wants to do, but I don't know how to put that on paper. And they'll be like, okay, well, why don't you try this or try that? And you just go back and forth.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I did that today, actually. I was doing some Belial work. And so my oldest kid, I was like, hey, I need to drop some jokes by you. Make sure they hit. So I dropped a couple of jokes. They're like, oh, yeah. Oh, not that one as much. And so I was like, okay, great. So, yeah.
So
go ahead.
Sophia is a published art or author, too. She is a writer.
Congrats. It's awesome.
She was the one I was telling you about at Comic Palooza, that I had an editor. Or no, when I was in one of your lives, I typed that I had my own editor, and she's the one that she goes over it for me.
That's fantastic, and that's so important. Katrina says you're missing cat stickers.
I am missing cat stickers. I have a whole box of stickers.
No.
Actually,
Elfie wants your sentiment about supporting other artists on a t-shirt.
I could totally do that.
Right.
Like, I have a Redbubble. Like, I could totally do that.
Honestly, we could say almost anything and you'd be like, I could do that. I'll find a way.
Like I said at the beginning, I literally have my hands in anything art you can think of. I try it. I like it. I keep doing it. Like, yeah. I know how to sew. I know how to crochet. I do clay work. I do sculpting. I do painting.
Okay, Sophia, let's get together and do a writer party because I've never done one. So let's do it. I'm down. Okay, you know what, guys? We are going to start to... I mean, there's still a bunch of you here. We're still doing very good, but we are going to start to quiet this down. If you guys have any final questions or comments for Bambi, please hit us up. Let us know. And I just realized, how fucking weird is it that you go by Bambi and you collect like deer skulls and shit?
Well, the Bambi actually came from, so my partner's name is Moose at conventions. And so I've never really had a nickname that stuck type thing. I've had like Sammy and that kind of stuff, like normal, like cutesy nicknames, but I never had my name, like something that's me. And so I was like, I kept thinking about it. And Bambi hit because I watched the movie Bambi. I love Disney movies, so I'm a child at heart. And I was like, you know what? Bambi's kind of cute. Let's try it at a convention and see how it works. And so we started introducing, this is Moose and I'm Bambi. And everybody's like, that's adorable. That's so cute type thing. And so, you know, it stuck.
That's pretty great. Looks like we got the writer parties coming. All my writers are coming out. Katrina, they all, okay, we'll have to set something up then. I'm down, people. I'm down for that. I'll try anything once. Cool. Sammy, Bambi, tell us one last time where we can find you and what you do for the people out there so they can track you down.
So on Instagram, it's the Pink Bat with a Y instead of an I in pink. That's on Instagram. And I mean, he has me tagged in here. So feel free to add me, DM me. We can talk about stuff. Even if you're not looking for a commission, still hit me up. I don't mind talking to people. I might get boring at some points, but just ask me a question and I'll answer you and we'll talk and stuff. I I'm actually kind of sad that this is ending because, like, I'm having a great time.
Look at that. Dude, everybody's jumping out for you. Much love.
I love it.
Do you do Twitter? Do you have an Etsy? Do you have anything like that?
I technically have an Etsy, but I don't post on there. I have a Twitter, but I don't post on there either because I just don't know how to use it. I mostly use Instagram and Facebook. I have a Twitch. I
Go
haven't posted on there in a while.
What's that one?
I have to look it up. So give me 2 seconds. It's
In the
probably
meantime,
everything else.
I appreciate you guys coming out. If you haven't before, if you like this kind of stuff, please go check out my YouTube channel that this is also running on, youtube.com/ChucksRawReviews. And every week, same thing. I find another creator. I actually, while she shows the next thing, I'm going to find out who's on next week. So, yeah, go ahead. What is your Twitch?
It's the same as everything else. It's the pink bat.
Oh, okay. That was way easier.
Yeah. I'm just, my brain doesn't like to work at full capacity sometimes. So it's just like, all right, well, I got to look it up just to make sure.
Mine doesn't work at half capacity, so you're fine.
Fair enough.
Dad joke. So yeah, next week I'm super excited. I have my mentor, the man who taught me the most about editing, Steve Cole, is going to be in the house. So I'm super excited. We'll be able to talk about editing and so much more. The guy is a wealth of knowledge. I can't tell you how excited I am to have the man on. So yeah, I mean, just more and more shows. You guys are going to learn an awful lot. Bambi, I love you, hon. Thank you so much for coming out.
I love you as well, and I'm very excited to do this again if you would ever want to.
Hell yes. Hell yes. I want to
so
do
much
this
fun.
as often as possible.
I had so much fun. Like, this is awesome. Like, it's been rare that I find a community that I can, like, talk to about my art that's not just like one person that's messaging me about it. And I mean, I do lives on like just random websites just to see if I can get my art out there. And this is a lot nicer because I can actually talk to somebody I know and who knows me too. And like I said, I'm having a blast. I was super, super nervous before this, and like I was trying to figure out what to say and like what to talk about. But like, this is awesome.
You did great. Guys, I have to run, but thank you so much for coming out, hon. Thank you, guys. My name is Chuck, and I give a fuck. I'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Bye.